chat.
Okay, you communicate what's happening. I feel like my ADD will just be like, I'll just be looking at that and not
Yeah,
responding to you.
true. Um, and the cool thing is that people ask questions. I can put them on screen, so you'll actually be able to see them on here,
Cool.
which is great. Okay, yay. So we are live. Is
Oh my
this
God.
your...
Hi,
Wait,
everyone.
this is your second time on Twitch, right?
Yes, this is my second time. The first time was the Zach Fox show, and this is
Yes.
my other live debut. But that one was like in a studio with like 4 setups and like 16 cameras, and like I was like looking in like 4 different directions and talking about something that I couldn't see. It was very like I felt like a weather girl, or like
Yeah.
there's that part of there's like a King in the Hill episode where Luann becomes a weather girl, and her like like her dress, except for the tits, is the same color as their green screen. So it's just like they're out. It's like so, and I'm just like, I was thinking about that. I was like, this could be happening to me right now, and I will not know. Oh yeah.
Oh my god. I mean, if you were wearing your amazing sweater right now in front of a green screen, we lose a shoulder for sure. We lose like the
Just be like
bottom. Yeah.
cloud. Yeah, that's fine.
We just have
Honestly,
the
just all
top cloud.
I'm ready. I'm ready to just become sweater. Like,
I love it. Well, okay, for everyone who's watching, just a little context. Aiden and I met working on a project like over a year ago now. Um, and I basically was just obsessed with you from the day we met. I am so inspired by your art, and you're just a true, I want to say Renaissance woman. That I'm not stealing that from Davy, but like you really are. Like I don't know anyone who understands culture like you. You do it all, from
that's
like
so. Thank you.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's amazing, like from memes to reality shows to philosophy to cats, like and cooking. Oh my, like you just get it.
God, I always say I would be a really good like housewife or like kept woman, because I have a million interests and like none of them are profitable. Like none of them are like work. Like I just so thank you for validating my 700 hobbies. Like
I deeply appreciate them and relate to them, and like I want to talk about all of it. Like I want to talk about reality shows, and I want to talk about
yes.
um like philosophy and memes and like all of that. But I feel like we should kind of start where it all started, which is with you. Because I don't actually know like where you grew up and like what life was like before now.
Yeah, before God, what was life like before now? I'm like trying like what was 2019 like? No, I grew up here in LA. I wanted to be like a writer pretty much my whole life, or I wanted to be like an artist when I was a really little kid, like just like a painter, and then I wanted to be a writer, and then I like worked, and then I like interned in like at Condé Nast like back in the day, and at Bon Appetit, they were racist, can confirm.
Mm.
Please don't give me Bon Appetit, but yeah, and just like no, it was just like the Condé Nast like fast lifestyle, and I thought that I was just gonna like love it, and I like hated it, and I was like, oh, this is not ideal for me. And yeah, I don't know, like I just kind of I did stuff. I mean, I guess I have a million interests because I had sort of a million like jobs. Like I worked in small press poetry, and then I also worked in a yoga studio, and I was like a server, and then I kind of just like made my way back to LA and was doing stuff in the industry for a while, and like memes were very much like my outlet, like very much just like something, because they're so, like I always like studied like poetry in school and doing small press stuff, and there's like this kind of great freedom and stuff that isn't marketable. Like you can kind of do whatever you want because you're not thinking about your audience. I mean, you're thinking about your audience, but like you're thinking about ways to like connect with them instead of ways to like sell something to them. And it just really changes the dynamic of what you make. And like me started out, and like design work started out for like as that for me, and then sort of ironically, especially now in the pandemic when like so like TV's not really going, like they're not making a ton of shows or like staffing a ton of shows right now. social media is kind of like my whole life and world, and like that includes my job. And I was like, okay, well, I guess it's good. I guess I was just preparing for this when I started making depression content like 2 or 3 years ago. So good job, Pasadena. Yeah, I don't know. I hope that answers your question a little bit. Like,
Yeah. No, I love that context. And it makes, I also have a lot of interests. I feel like I've really developed them more during COVID because it's given me time to like actually focus. So I
what are your
definitely,
hobbies? What are you doing right now?
oh, my hobbies. Well, meditation is definitely number one. I love
Aspirational.
reading tarot. I will talk about that. I love
Yeah.
astrology. Um, I've actually started doing a lot of like meditation classes, but it's more like energy work. Um, and like
Whoa.
kind of opening my third eye. So, and I read a lot. I've been like, yeah, I had a very intense spiritual awakening in like September, October. So now I've kind of like come out of that, and my life just really changed.
That's so dope. Yeah, that's beautiful. No, I feel that. I mean, I like, I always in my head I just call it like chill magic. Like I think we were talking about like angels earlier, which I realize can be
Yes.
very like dogmatic and like,
Yes.
you know, but like I was like, yeah, like I like asked my guardian angels to like help me find parking. Like maybe it's just like a lapsed Catholic took a lot of psychedelics in my early 20s thing, but like I was just like I don't know, like I feel like I've got chill relationship with the ghosts of my grandparents. Like I love
Yes.
astrology, like that kind of stuff, but
Yes.
I'm not, yeah, but I also don't want to like, I'm not going to push stuff on people, and I like definitely believe in vaccines, so it's a
Yeah.
balance.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Same. I know it's hard because I think when you get into this kind of stuff and have positive experiences with it, it's really easy, and especially for me to want to like share that with people and be like, "Oh, like you should maybe think about this or, like test that." But a lot of people just aren't open to it. So I've learned, like keep it to myself. My guides
Yeah.
are there.
They're
They,
hanging. Well, and also
yeah.
I just feel like there's such a, you know, it's hard to sort of also, as like I'm a white person, like I need to reconcile like a history of like appropriated culture and like spiritual
Mhm.
bypassing if I really want to do like deep work, because that's also part of it. And it's like, where is this coming? Where like what is the actual tradition behind this? Is this for me? What's going to work? And like,
Yeah.
I also, it's a lot of I wanting to be really conscious and like practice, because if it's only helping us but it's at the expense of like someone else's like history or lived experience, then it's probably not like spiritually sound. Like
Mhm.
it's not super enlightened.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, and it's just sort of, yeah, so it's, yeah, coming at it from that angle is interesting too. But I love it. I mean, there's so much like depth that you can get into in a huge breadth, and like, yeah, it is kind of funny when you uh like start to talk to someone about it and they're like clearly not into it, or
Mhm.
like or just like not having it. But also I feel like sometimes I feel like if people are like either like that's bananas, fuck that, or I have found that a lot of people will just be like, I've never told you this, but like this really weird thing happened when I was like a kid and I can't explain it. Or like, oh yeah, like I've got a ghost in my house, duh. Like, like there's like, it's actually kind of sweet and surprising how
Yeah.
many people are sort of just like quietly tapped in.
Exactly. Yeah, it's really surprising and exciting, and I think that this year, I mean, partially with the conjunction that just happened and like entering the age of Aquarius, but like a lot of people are waking up, you know? Just having this time alone, and like really having to sit with yourself and get to know yourself and not having distractions. Like, it did wonders for me, but was also really hard.
Yeah, it's really hard. Like, I mean, and unfortunately, I think that's where like a lot of the work has to happen. I mean, in a spiritual sense, and also just in sort of an emotional work sense. Like, it's so nice to be in community and know that like we have people to lean on, and also like you know, if we're going to make changes, like we have to choose to do that, and we have to do that work. And also, like, to be someone that you can live with, you have to know that you have your own back at the end of the day. You have to show up for yourself. And that's like really hard to like,
Yeah.
to gain your own trust. Like that's work. And that's really, it's like beautiful. It's great work. But yeah, it's really hard to.
It really is. It really is. I really admire you and Davey, you know, like being separated during this. Like, I can't imagine.
Yeah, it's for context. My boyfriend's Canadian, and he left in March, and we thought it was for 2 weeks, and then the border closed, and it's been like 10 months. I do think he's gonna come in January. I think we figured out a way he can come. He's literally gonna come for 2 weeks, and we're quarantining for 10 of those days. So like, it's gonna be, like but like it'll be fun. We'll get some good food. Well, like they don't have Hulu in Canada, so we'll just watch a bunch of Hulu.
Oh my gosh. They don't have Hulu
No,
in
it's gonna
Canada?
be
Wow.
no, but yeah, it has been like really, yeah, and it is like, I mean, there's a lot of trust, I guess, in any long distance relationship. I feel like in some ways that probably is assuaged a little bit, in that like we're not, I mean, we also trust each other, and like we're chillers, and like, we both had really active social lives. Like we met far apart, like on the internet, so that's normalized. But I also like, part of it is probably we have a lot more time to like FaceTime and talk to each other because we're both like home all day.
Right.
So that's probably good for us in some ways, and also very bad because like a relationship in which both people are stressed out all the time because of global events is obviously, that's hard. Like,
Yeah. It's really hard. But wait, so you guys met on the internet? I love internet meeting stories.
oh my
How
god,
did you
yeah,
guys
we met
meet?
on Instagram. We
You met
met
on
like as
Instagram.
meme creators. Yeah, like we were both like in the meme community, and like sort of like came up together, like, and yeah, like, and we were like friends for, yeah, we were just sort of like, not even like full reply guys, just like sort of casual, like, people that you just like occasionally DM with.
Yeah.
And I remember like once, God, I mean, we started, our first date was like March 19th. And
Wait,
then like
of what year?
8 2019. 2019.
So,
Yeah, March.
so
So
right before COVID, basically.
no, wait. 2020 was COVID.
Well, okay, so I guess a year before COVID.
Yeah, our year anniversary was like in COVID. Yeah.
Okay.
Like he was in Canada for it. Sorry, I know I don't know what time is either, so I'm having
I get very confused too.
No, we've been going out. We've been officially going out for like a year and 9 months or something.
Okay.
And
Okay.
it's then, yeah. So whatever was before that, like the January before that, we were just like DMing. I don't know, and I kind of like, and then I think I said something because we were just like joking, and we would like talk a lot, but about like just random internet stuff, and I was just like, I don't actually know who you are, like like who are you? And because he like really rarely shows his face, like he doesn't, he used to more and stuff, but it was sort of this like really nice, like we would just talk about like art. Oh my god, a puppy.
Sorry.
No, I love.
I can imagine that the natural chemistry was like very much there, like from the beginning.
Yeah, like just as like artists, like so exciting to meet someone whose like work you like really like, and to get to know someone that way, and then like get to know them a little bit as a person, and then like, yeah, like I was just like, I don't know who you are, and he was like, all right, well here's my whole like backstory, like from birth onwards, and I was like, okay,
wow,
cool, like this is great. Yeah, and then like I feel like, and then we just kept talking, and it got obviously more like, when you start to get really like excited that someone's like online, like sort of, I remember like in the times of AOL, it would be like the door opening, like, and it would get you really excited.
Yeah, you hear that sound, and you're like, oh.
yeah, like, oh my god, my crush, finally. Yeah, and then basically I was just saying like, I have this, I didn't even know where Halifax was. He was in Halifax at that time. I didn't know that you could be in North America and be 4 hours ahead of Los Angeles, but you can apparently. That's like a time zone that I didn't know existed in it.
Whoa.
And yeah, and then I was like bragging, I make a very beautiful Italian nonna pasta sauce. And he was like, well, I would take you for a pasta date if I could. And I was like, we should Skype one. And we had a first Skype date, and then we like started dating. Cute. And then we met in like May. Yeah, like months later.
So cute. Oh my
Yeah, it's
gosh.
very, very charming and good. And just like, yeah, like I haven't, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I hadn't really gotten to know a romantic partner like through their other work first. Like I feel like the first thing, because especially, and I like, obviously you need to meet someone in person to get like chemistry, and that's like awesome too. And but there's something about like getting to know someone just through their creative work and the way that they like think about the world that like
Mm-hmm.
felt, it feels really good to me. Like I really like that, so that was cool. I'm a
Yeah.
Gemini. I'm very air, like very like ideas oriented, so maybe that's why I was like horny for that. Like,
I mean, you guys are both intellectuals and like uniquely brilliant. It makes total sense to me. What's Davy's sign?
oh, he's a Scorpio. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
we're the bad boys of the zodiac. Yeah, he's like, yeah, but he's perfect because if someone is mean to me online, I can screenshot it and send it to him, and he'll cyberbully them for me.
Oh,
Like,
perfect. Perfect.
yeah,
And he's
perfect
on
Gemini sort
Twitch,
of
right?
relationship. He got an account. He might be watching this now. Hi, AB. I'm not. Uh, I hope I'm not saying anything embarrassing. But uh, yes,
Wow.
that's it.
I that's
Just
such a good story.
two shit
Damn.
posters of love. Yeah.
Wow. Well, so I guess we should just get into the whole meme thing because I just I mean, no one does it better than you, and I thought it was really interesting what you were saying earlier about like creating memes as an outlet for yourself, but also as a way to connect with your audience. Like, what is that process like? And like, are you surprised, or were you, or are you ever surprised by how much people identify with what you're saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, the process for making a meme is like sometimes it's really quick. Like sometimes it's just like here's a funny idea and like here's an image in my head that I like saw, in some random corner of the internet, and these things are perfect together. And it's just like a easy 10 minutes and minutes in the world. Sometimes, especially more recently, I've just like I my one another quarantine hobby is I wanted to like actually get good at design. Like I never studied design in school. Like the last
Wow.
time I used Photoshop before like I started like sort of making memes was like high school yearbook, and like like I could do like two things on it. Like I didn't know what I was doing. I had to learn,
Damn, I'm
I learn
impressed.
everything pretty much as I'm making stuff. So that will take me a lot longer because I have to like learn how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it is really something that I really like about it because when I do other stuff, like when I'm writing something, that's a really long time that you spend alone with your own work, and you have to, you know, um, you just have to sort of like believe that you're gonna make something good, and then even then, like even if you do, and then it gets like published somewhere, or you're like putting it out, like that can still take months. If you're making a film, that's gonna take years before anyone gets eyes on it, and
Yeah.
it's just so there's something so nice about getting to make internet content because like you make it and it's done, and then it's just in the world right away, and
Right.
obviously sometimes that's not great, like sometimes you're like, man, I should have thought about that one a little more or something, but like you know like I really like the sort of immediate capacity to like communicate about something and like be like, hey, I had this idea, and then suddenly there's like thousands of people who like just have a response to it. Like that feels really cool. Um, Occasionally people like read into stuff that like I just didn't, like people will
Mm-hmm.
like, it's really nice to have people relate to your work, and then also often like occasionally people will like sort of be like, oh, like they'll like repost it and be like, this is like relatable because of like this experience, and like it's occasionally something that I don't even like believe like now, or like it's something that like I didn't intend at all. Like I'm trying to like,
Right.
I don't want to like call out any like type of person, so I'm not going to use specific examples, but like yeah, just like someone being like, oh, obviously this is about this,
Yeah. Huh.
and how like interesting that is, that I'm like, yeah, like at some point the other weird thing is that like if I write something, I don't sit there with the person while they read it, and they have their own, they identify with it in their own way, and they have their own opinions and ideas about it, and I'll never know about them probably, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
And so, like, here I will know about them because people will comment and they will tell me about them. Like
True.
my favorite thing is there's like a subset of dude that loves to tell me that my Venn diagrams are wrong. Certain men love to just be like, I think this should go here. And I'm just like, no, you don't get to do that. You don't get to tell me how to make a chart. Like, also, it probably is wrong. Again, my whole brand is being a dumb bitch, so it's fine. Like, I don't care. Like,
Oh my God. So there's like a lot of discourse around what you're posting.
yeah, I would say so. I mean, less less so than probably other pages. I don't know that anything that I post is super incendiary, for better or worse. And but like, yeah, like it is like if something really takes off, then it's really interesting to sort of see like the kinds of accounts that are reposting it or the kinds of people that are sort of saying that this is true. And it's also, yeah, it is like really, it does feel really good when someone's like, this is, this is my experience, or like, oh, I needed this today. Like that's awesome, and I felt that way looking at other people's posts. Like that can feel, sort of like a sign in some ways.
Yeah.
And that's like, yeah.
Have you
So that's
ever?
always good.
Sorry, I don't want to cut you off.
No, no, you're fine.
Have you ever heard of like the term like collective conscience or collective
Yeah.
conscious? I feel like your memes like tap into that. Like
Uh,
you're kind of
Thank you. That's
pulling
nice.
from what everyone's feeling and like making it, like palpable, if that makes
That's
sense.
such a lovely way to put that. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, and I do feel like it's eerie sometimes, yeah, that something can happen. And like even like just like a few, like I remember in like 2012 or 2013, I like wrote this essay about like a breakup that I was really sad about, and in it described the other person as a ghost, and I described why they're a ghost. And I'm like, it's because, like they haunt you and there's no response and there's nothing you can do. And I text this person, they don't respond. And then like 2 years later, ghosting is a term. And like obviously it's not like I invented that. Like it's a very A to B, like it's a pretty self-explanatory term. And also, I don't think that anyone's reading my like lyric essays and being like, the zeitgeist. But like it is like an interesting, or like I like wrote a poem about eating a Tide, or like wanting to eat a Tide Pod like a year before like eating Tide Pods was a meme. Like no, it's like, and again, I'm not saying that I'm like, I am certainly in no way the reason that these things are popular, but it's like being just part of like, it's like being a drop of water in like the river of our consciousness, where like I'll just notice certain things and that feels really cool. Like, even if that
Yeah.
thing is like iPods, like,
I mean, I think it's more than that. I don't. It's pretty interesting.
oh my god, can you imagine if I'm a psychic, but like only for like internet culture? Like, that's it? That's what they gave me? Like,
But like then we have to ask like what is internet culture? Like I would love to know like the average age of people that follow you, and are like engaging with your posts because it's not just internet culture that you're connecting with. Like people are feeling these things and like experiencing them on like a mass scale, I think.
that's a really good point, and that's like really interesting to think about, is that when we talk about internet culture, we're actually talking about like offline culture too. This is just sort of
Yeah.
the way that we express it. It's not like every art medium reflects sort of like the same general, like the same ideas around culture, and this is just like one facet of it. And I mean, the thing that makes the internet again really interesting is that it's so rapid fire, and it lets us sort of like live through our experiences in real
Hmm.
time in a way that like we wouldn't be able to do otherwise, really. Like, I mean, we can't even, now I'm thinking about this and I'm like, wow, has the internet made me better at processing my emotions? Because I was like, God, I feel like there was a time when I couldn't even live through my own feelings in real time. And now I'm
Yeah.
like, now I'm processing them publicly often.
And you're
Like,
helping other people process them.
yeah, yeah. And like having and learning how to do that. And of course, like, we all learn in real time, like there's a dissonance between like knowing something rationally and having lived it, and that's just sort of what we all have to like, we try to increase our empathy and our knowledge as much as we can, and also sometimes you just have to like let the experience happen and be in real
Mm-hmm.
time like, whoa, this is my lesson, fuck, like, oh no.
Yeah.
um yeah.
I mean, I feel like you bring up a lot of that stuff. And like in my experience of like ingesting and like digesting your memes, a lot of the times I'm like, yeah, I felt that or I have experienced that. And you just have this like uncanny ability to pull out something so relevant out of this like mass like fog, this like conscious fog that we all live in. And like you're just like, oh, here's the diamond in it, and like I'm gonna turn that into a meme that like everyone's gonna be like, oh, I felt like that yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. I love
It's a
this. This is just
gift.
like getting gassed up with Amanda. Yeah. Like, but no, it's such a like, yeah, and it does feel like obviously really validating, because I think so many of those things that I like talk about are just things that like the number of times that before I've hit post, I've just been like, does anyone else feel this? Like, is this gonna be the one where they're just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, wait, no one else is doing that. Like, and like,
Has that happened? I'm like genuinely curious.
I don't think so. I don't I don't think
You're
so
almost
yet.
spot
We'll
on.
see. Yeah, it's still my anxiety, is that I'm unrelatable, but like, we'll see. Like,
I
it's
mean,
important to, it's always important to check yourself. We don't want hubris or anything, so like,
yeah. I mean, you're really good at it. It definitely like the Gemini is speaking to me. Like I feel like it's a very like Gemini quality, but I need to know what's your moon and rising.
oh yeah, so I am a Gemini sun, I'm a Sag moon, and I'm a Pisces rising.
Okay.
It's very chaotic. There's no Earth. It's fine. Well, my Mercury and my Venus are both Taurus, so
Okay.
yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. I feel like the Pisces makes sense. I'm not sure what the Sag moon means.
Sag moons, I mean, just from my own reading into it, is just we're like, uh, we can get kind of detached. We want to like just try new things. We're kind of like burn it down, Like,
Yeah.
I think that some people, when they're stressed about something, they hold on tighter, and some people, when they're stressed about something, they just let it go. And I'm kind of a let it go person.
Yeah.
Um, and that's, it's can be good, it can be bad, it can be like, so yeah, the Sag moon is kind of a like, my comfort zone is new things, which is chaotic, especially compared with like a Gemini. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I'm an Aries sun and moon and Sag rising. So I got a lot of
Whoa,
fire.
that's wild. Do you identify with that? Like,
Yes. Yeah.
yes, cool,
Um
cool.
I mean, I think part of like my life's purpose is subduing like the fire in me. And I think I've finally like been able to do that. Um but it's there. I feel
Yeah,
it
or just
sometimes.
knowing when it's useful and when it's not, because I think sometimes like just burn bright. Like, sometimes, why
Yeah.
damn, but also sometimes you're like, oh no, this is why. There's a good reason. Like,
Yes, totally.
yeah.
I have Pisces in my chart. I don't remember what is it. Pisces is like the way I look at love. Is it my Venus?
Yeah,
Venus?
that's gonna
Yeah.
be your Venus.
Yeah. So my
That's sweet.
Pisces
That's
is
like
in
a really lovely, that's a really lovely Venus, I think. But it's also chaotic compared to like how much other fire you have.
yeah. Mhm. It's crazy. It is quite crazy. Got a lot of Aries in my chart. Um
Yeah, I always feel like astrology is so interesting and weird, because like I do, like, whether or not you believe in it, which like obviously I do, Michelle, or yeah, we do, but like,
yeah.
even when people are like more skeptical of it, I always sort of talk about it to them in terms of like, you know, no matter how sort of into it you are, there's always something really useful about just being like, here are some personality traits. You might identify with these, or some things come more easily to you, and we're asking you to like think about the way that you act in the world and the way that comes naturally to act in the world, and like question it a little bit, or just be like, can I, you know, which traits do I want to embody? Which traits do I embody that maybe I can like work with? Like if I already have, like, what is the best way? Because like there's no, like, no sign is inherently bad. I know that I say that as a Gemini, and everyone talks about Geminis being the worst sign, but like we're lovely. Like,
oh my, I think, wait, how many? Like 90% of my boyfriends have been Geminis. I pretty much
I love that.
only
Chaotic.
Yeah. And my astrologer told me that I will probably end up with a Gemini.
Okay. That's beautiful. Thank you for your support.
And I love Gemini girls too. I've never had an issue with a Gemini girl. I only know amazing Gemini women.
Man, I have been told by so many people that I'm their only Gemini friend, or like the only Gemini that they like. Like,
Really?
I mean, you know, I respect it. I'm not here to like, you know, but I'm also like, yeah, we're actually like fine. I'm like, have you ever talked to like a Virgo? Come on, like, yeah, like,
Yeah.
you know. But it's like, but again, it's like, first of all, everyone has like many signs and many planets. Like, you know, we have a lot going on in our charts, and so it's not just sort of like, this is who you are forever. But I think it is also really cool to have just like a fun language, like a language that makes sort of talking about like how you manage yourself in the world and how you manage your skills, and also maybe the things that you're not so skilled with, like in interacting in the world, in a way that's like really fun and like easy to joke about, and like, you know, relatively accessible. It's, I don't know, I think that's cool. Into the paradigm. Yeah.
Totally. I get so much comfort from astrology. Like, I like feeling like I am on a path. And I still maintain, like, free will and sovereignty, but, you know, I kind of see everyone as, like, having a map, you know, and there's, like, the high road and the low road, and most people are kind of, like, in between, trotting along, but you know, I like to imagine I'm going as high as I can.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Well, and it's also like, I was reading, I'm reading this book by this neuroscientist, and it's all about sort of the science of manifestation. And like, you know, again, that's a term that's very, when I think of it, I think of like Gwyneth Paltrow, and I think of like pyramid schemes. Like, it's not one that, you know, like it's all, you know, there's a lot going on. There's some snake oil involved, like, and but like, you know, she talks about it in this way that's really interesting, because basically like we are so inundated with information, and you know, especially like in the internet age, and also just like generally, like we're asked to do so much more than the human brain is like really designed to do, just in terms of like information sorting. So what we do is we tag things by importance, like automatically, you know, without even thinking about it. We tag things by importance, and we sort them, and we react to them or we don't. And of course, the most like safe thing for our brains to do is just to go on autopilot. And this is a lot of, if we look at like neuroplasticity and trauma theory, and like the way that our amygdalas pop off because, you know, a certain smell or strange thing that like we don't even think about, you know, like is going to make you respond. Is it like, you know, where our brain basically is used to taking a situation and saying, okay, this is how we respond to it every time. And in a sort of much lower stakes way, you know, that's sort of how we live our lives. And it's how, you know, it's how we take the same route to work every day, but it's also how we fall into unsatisfying relationships. Yes. And I think like, she sort of revisits this, and she does like, you know, with like studies and brain scans, just talking about the incredible sort of law of attraction that comes into place when you actually start making conscious choices. And I think that's such a beautiful marriage between sort of the spiritual side of things and then the really like hard science side of things, that it's like, yeah, we have free will. How often do we actually use it? Like, how often are we changing things? How often are we considering things and saying, no, this is what I actually want, instead of this is the easiest path? And of course we have to do that sometimes, you know, we're not we can't say yes to everything. Like that's just what life is. But getting to choose that, I think, is like really interesting and cool, and something that I want to try doing more in 2021.
Oh yeah, it's a huge part of my life. I legitimately manifest every single day. It's part of my meditation, actually. Um,
Ah, amazing.
it's pretty cool. I am very into it, and it's been like a long journey for me. I first was introduced to manifestation when I watched The Secret in college. Have you watched The Secret?
Nice, nice. I am familiar with it. I have not seen it, but it is on Netflix, I believe, right?
You should watch it. It's
Okay.
like hilarious. You will laugh your ass off because it's just like it's so bad and it feels really like kitschy and weird, but there's like a lot of gems in there and it just like very simply spells out how it works, but it starts with being like Ben Franklin knew the secret, Albert Einstein knew the
Oh
secret,
my
like the
god.
secret in history. And but then they also talk about, like if you have like a glass of water and you just say like love, 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 the particles like react differently than if you were saying hate, hate, hate. Um,
That's super interesting. Oh my god, I love this. It sounds like it has like some ancient aliens vibes that I can get down
yes.
with.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Major ancient aliens vibes. Um, but so at the time, like I knew about it, and so I was like visualizing, and I would make like dream boards. Um, but since then, it's you know become something like very culturally relevant. I think, especially on TikTok. Are you on TikTok?
I am an avid lurker on TikTok.
Okay,
Yeah. I don't
so
I don't post it.
yeah, I don't either really, but my TikTok is pretty much all spirit talk, like witch talk and alien talk. It's basically all conspiracy theories.
Oh my god, I'll say it. Their algorithm's good. I love it. Yeah.
It is it is on point. I didn't think I was a conspiracy theorist, but now it's like kind of telling me different. Um like oh my god, there's some
I mean,
videos
as long
about
as you like don't go QAnon, you're probably fine.
okay,
Like,
well,
yeah,
yeah.
as long as you keep
That
it
shit
light.
is not
Yeah.
on my feed. Thank God. This is
Yeah.
more
Yeah, that's
like
yeah.
the pyramids are built in the like exact middle of the world and like, hieroglyphics that have these like animal beings are actually aliens. It's that kind of stuff. Ancient
Yeah.
aliens again. Um but like everyone on my TikTok feed is just manifesting away and everyone's posting new methods of like you write this down and then you burn it and then you like do this and that. It's wild. It's becoming very popular.
Oh my god, exciting, exciting. Please send me some manifestation TikTok. I'm really down. Mine is just
Oh, I
teens
will.
teaching me how to shoplift, which is also great. Like
I love it. Wow, a special place. Extremely
yeah.
special place.
Oh,
But yeah,
oh my TikTok, the Zoomers will save us all. Like I'm a huge fan. Yeah.
it's so good. I will send you some videos if you want to fuck up your algorithm. Be my
Yeah,
guest.
I'm ready. Oh my god, fuck me up. Yeah.
Damn. Well, yeah. I mean, 2021 is going to be really interesting in terms of like what we can bring about to ourselves. I think the biggest thing and like the best way for manifestation to work is to like remain positive, um, which is really hard. I think our brains are like the most toxic place because we just pull ourselves down these like horrible rabbit holes of like negative self-talk.
Totally. It's really hard and it's such a yeah, and I don't want to fall into toxic positivity either. And at the same time, I'm like, that seems really, like, I'm very low risk for that because my brain just seems to, like, want to, yeah, like, catastrophize and and criticize. And yeah, I'm definitely a perfectionist, which is, like, really fun. But also, like, making content and internet stuff is also really nice for stuff like that because I can't, like, stress out. Like it's done. Like again, it's
Yeah.
just like it's done. I made it. If there's a typo, whatever. Like there's no, I'm gonna just make another one at some
Yeah.
point. Like, yeah. It's funny. I used to be that way with like food too, even like such a perfectionist about just like, you know, like really indecisive when I look at a menu, which I don't really
Mm.
associate, like I don't like just this idea that it has to be like I have to make exactly the right choice, and it's like really important if I'm choosing between two things. And finally just like being like, oh, you know what, actually there's always going to be another meal, like there's just gonna like I can just like live abundance, like I can just like make this choice, not freaking out about it having to be the right choice, and just like, you know, there's going to be another post, like things, like it's such an interesting, I don't even remember how we started talking about this, but that's how I feel. There's always going to be another meal is a
Yeah.
nice way to live your life and de-stress and
I want
just
that. That's another
help
bumper
out of
sticker.
right, like
There's always
yeah, I'm
another
like I don't even
meal.
know if that's like a positive, it's just like neutral, it's just like I just want to be like chill. Yeah, like
I mean, your job kind of requires you to do that in a way. Like, I think what you do requires like extreme vulnerability and courage at the same time, you know?
yeah, and that's like a really interesting, that's like a really, I mean, that's sort of an interesting subject too, like, or thing to talk about, because yeah, like I do think that in many ways it requires vulnerability, and at the same time the more followers I get, the more I'm sort of like wary of that, or the more that I feel like I kind of can't be as vulnerable as I used to, because at some point, and that's like okay, like I also think that it's also really normal, but it's something in real time that like I've again had to just like figure out, because it's not like we don't have, you know, it's not like I'm some big famous person, but like, you know, I've had a couple people like recognize me, or I get like a fair amount of DMs, like to a level that I like am really bad at responding to DMs. Sorry everyone. Like just like, you know, there's and it's all really cool, and also like in if someone else has like sort of some level of like creative notoriety or like celebrity, they have usually like an agent or a manager, like a person who is like stepping sort of between them.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and it's like really interesting to not have that, and to figure out all of those boundaries yourself, and like how to talk to people, and how to like, you know, because it's like I never
Yeah.
want to be like a jerk to people, and overall I get like very few like mean DMs, if I can be real. People are generally so lovely and chill, and like everyone is really cool, and also just like the amount of like energy that that takes to like show up for like several hundred people a day unpaid is like just,
Yeah.
you know, it's hard, and like figuring out how to do that in a way that's like respectful is like it's an interesting challenge, and to be
Yeah.
like vulnerable like that is an interesting challenge that like stresses me out sometimes, like yeah.
I can't imagine. It's a lot. It is a lot. And you're
Yeah,
you're
but
very good at responding to DMs.
thank you, that's very validating. I also feel like I also just don't like, I just can't not be another way though. Like I'm pretty like open book as a person. For better
Yeah.
or worse, like I always say, like people can always tell exactly like how I feel about them, which kind of sucks, because then if I don't like someone, I like can't fake it. And sometimes I don't like people for really irrational reasons. Like, you know, you just meet someone and you get like a bad vibe. Like
Yes.
people like that I'm just like a dick to, and I don't want to be, and I don't know why, and I just like there's something in my, that's like my shit that I need to like work with. My Mars is Aries, so that could be part of it. But like, yeah,
Welcome.
it just reminds me of like when like cats don't like each other or something off the bat.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like the pheromones are wrong, and I'm just like, oh cool, time to be an asshole. And I'm like, no, like what? Like there's not. It's not rational. I will say most of the time, when I get a bad vibe, it is later proven to me that that person is bad. But like,
Because you have good intuition. That's what it is.
yeah, it's good intuition, but I also feel like on the earth plane we shouldn't be a dick to someone without evidence.
Yeah.
It proceeds first.
Yeah. I agree. But sometimes it's hard, you know? Especially
Sometimes
when
it's
you're
hard.
dealing with so many strangers. Like, that's. I
Yeah,
can't imagine.
yeah, totally. It's like a very, it's a strange experience too, because I feel like when we were like in high school, like being like I'm not that old, just the internet is like so like in like social media specifically, and like content creation specifically really feels like something that like in the last like 10 years really became like a job or like a
Mhm.
thing. Like
Mhm.
so growing up it wasn't even like, oh, that's like a thing, but I don't think I could do it. Like, it just didn't exist. Like, if someone's like, oh, you're gonna just be like a memer, I'm like, oh, what? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
Oh,
so
that's
that's kind
so
of cool. I
crazy
mean,
to think
that's that
about.
sad mood in action. But like, yeah, like we're all in like the Wild West together. We don't know what we're doing. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. It is crazy. Like you have one of the most like state of the art new jobs there is. And I guess I kind of do
yeah.
too in a way.
Oh, totally. Yeah, like you work in like, thing and like connection, and I mean, and also, and Twitch literally is live. Like we are
Yeah.
connecting in real time right now, and that's super cool.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, one of my favorite quarantine like online experiences was when you did your like capitalist quarantine like
oh my
roundup of
god,
all the things that people bought.
oh
That
my
was
god, that
incredible.
I think about that all the time. I mean, I'm working on this like essay sort of about that and like the shit that
Ooh.
we buy, and I guess I better hurry it up if I want it to be done before we get a vaccine and it's not relevant anymore. But like, yeah, no, it was incredible. Like the stuff that people were purchasing is just inspiring and frightening and bananas. I mean, God, it was like several people had purchased like eggs for like live birds, like eggs that would become birds that I guess they could take care of. That was a
What?
big one.
No
Someone bought
way.
8 pounds of sand. 8 pounds of sand for what? For who? Colored? I don't know. Like, um, God, like, so lots of candles. We all want candles and vibrators and lingerie,
Yeah.
which I
Oh
love.
yeah.
I'm just like huge, like, wow, like, my audience is glamorous. This is self care. That's great. Like, yeah,
Now,
like, other, just random shit.
I,
Like,
whenever I buy something now, I think of you. I'm like, oh, I should send this to Aiden. Today I bought
oh
a
my god, text
rhinestone
me if you
kit.
buy weird shit. Tell me, I still want to know about it. I've had to like really cut down on core purchases. I've been pretty, but what did I? Am I trying to think of the last irrational thing that I bought? I did buy a pink light bulb for my room, which was six
Cute.
dollars at
Cute.
Lowe's. Recommend it. I know other people have like the fancy. I think you can upgrade and get the ones that's like Wi-Fi connected, and you can like change the lights on your phone. Like you, yeah, that's cool. But mine is just like plain one color pink light bulb, and honestly, I love it. It makes my bedroom look like a sexy club, um, and that's
Sounds
fun for me.
amazing. Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, that's what I got recently.
I ordered a rhinestone kit today.
Oh
So,
my god! Wait, one of the like 5D art ones,
uh,
or wait, what does
I
it
don't
do?
know.
So I've been looking at 5D rhinestone art online, so that's why it
Hold
was in my
on.
head. But
Let's pull
yeah,
it
pull
up.
it up.
5D rhinestone art. Oh, oh wow. No, it's not this.
Oh yeah, so I that has yeah, one of these has been like in my you can do like sort of paint by numbers or like rhinestone by numbers. And
What?
yeah, one for like an elaborate kitten painting has been in my cart for a minute. So
Wait, an
I want to
elaborate
see
what
more.
painting?
It's like a kitten
Oh, a
painting, like it's
kitten.
like a
Oh my
paint by
god.
numbers of like a cute kitten. Um yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Oh, it's gonna be great.
Oh my god, I didn't even know about this. I just got like a basic
I know,
rhinestone
right?
kit. Um, but damn. I could probably do
Yeah,
some 5D rhinestone art with it.
like, why are they called 5D? They're definitely 3D. What are the other Ds? Like,
I do not know. Oh my gosh. Diamond painting lovers. Oh, wow.
yeah,
This is special.
yeah.
This is special.
Oh my
Oh,
god, right? I am so excited for, yeah, we should get some, we should discuss. I am
yeah.
really excited to eventually pull the trigger on that and then spend like 8 hours on it when I should be doing something else. Like,
This is worthwhile. Worthwhile work. Then you can like
yeah,
auction it off. Is it gonna be pop
right? I was like, I
inspired?
should, I want to do a giveaway or something. Cause like,
Yes.
I mean, it's going to be beautiful, and also I don't know where I'm going to put it in my house. We'll see.
I cannot wait to see this. I'm also
Wait,
excited
tell me about
about this
your
essay that you're writing.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I just like I'm really interested in the idea of like the things that we've been buying when like we feel like we can't hold on to anything. Like what a shift in sort of our structural integrity and like just the way that I mean, I for one, I feel like now I have like existential commitment phobia because like, it's not like I ever was like into the American government. Like fuck that. But also like, I it does make you realize sort of that like leaving an entire nation to just like starve basically or like hanging everyone out to dry because like you just don't care about your people unless they're like making money like
Yeah.
and just the way that like this has been handled has just really like uh or like working in the film industry and feeling like like there is a certain way that you like work your way up as an assistant and like even that is like not really true all the time and like there's a lot of it's, the film industry is known for being exploitative but also just like then suddenly it's like they're just not making movies for a year and so like then you're like well is my industry even gonna exist like is this really what I want to do and if it is like if and again I always say that what I want to do with my life is tell stories with my friends and that takes a lot of different shapes and forms
Yeah.
but like you know if like the industry that you were working in doesn't exist for a year if like there's just like so much stuff that feels like it's just like falling away under your feet and then it's like you can have if you can just have like a nice little outfit or like just a little like just a weird hat to put on your kitten or just like a weird like just like a strange little object can feel so grounding and so
Yeah.
good in that moment and I know I'm saying this in the same breath as capitalism is evil but like both are true it's weird like
No, I totally agree. Do you follow Bunny Michael on Instagram?
yeah yeah totally
They posted this morning, I really liked it. They said, "The next time you feel unworthy, remember this capitalist system profits from your disempowerment, so you keep spending your money to feel complete. It's the system that is unworthy of you. You're amazing."
damn that's
But it's,
beautiful the system is unworthy of you yeah
yeah. And it's so true. Every purchase I make, I I feel like I'm just, you know, it's like eating a cookie. It's just that like instant gratification that just slips away like soon after.
yeah no and then well and also at the same time there are like objects in my house that I like genuinely love. And like so like I love my stupid dream sweater, like with
Me too.
with sequins on it. Like I don't know, I have like a countertop milk steamer. That shit is lit. That's
Ooh.
great. Like it makes me happy every single time I use it. Like just like weird oh
I love my
wow.
little troll baby.
Yeah. See?
Yeah.
That's tight. Yeah, just like little like there is
And my chakra
I guess it's a balance.
necklace.
Yep. Yep. Show us
That I keep on my
oh,
desk.
what is going on in that necklace? Is it chakras? Is it time? What is happening?
So you can't really see, but inside there are 7 stones, and they represent each of the different chakras. So when I clear my chakras, which I only do twice a week, I wear it.
Nice. Oh, that's excellent. That's amazing.
An essential
Um,
buy, right?
yeah, obviously. How are you going to clear your chakras without the chakra clearing necklace? Like,
I don't know how I did it before.
yeah, it's an odd thing, but yeah, that was like a really fun, special internet experience, and that really made me feel like we were in like a community. Like we were
Yeah,
in sort of our weird solidarity, even as we were all just fucking spiraling and freaking out. And we could also have fun. Like that was just a fun thing. So that was cool.
it was really cool. I really felt that. It was definitely one of the coolest things I witnessed during COVID, hands down.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna segue a little bit because I want to talk about reality shows.
Oh my god. Please.
I don't I don't know if you know this about me, but after I graduated, I went and worked in National Geographic for 3 years in DC at the channel.
Oh, I
Um,
didn't know.
yeah, yeah. So, because I always wanted to be in TV, that was like what I thought I was gonna do, and like produce and direct shows, whatever. But reality was like my thing. I'm obsessed with reality shows. I try to watch all of them, and um, whatever. Obviously, things took a turn. I didn't really do that. Now I'm here. But I've always been really impressed by just like your rhetoric and your like philosophy knowledge and being able to like critique these shows on this like very high level. Um, and I just want to talk about that and like get your hot takes on, what's out there, what you've been watching.
Oh my god, I love this. I love reality TV. This is a great question. Thank you. I can talk about it forever. It's so like, well, I also just think that like reality TV generally is super fascinating because it sort of like pretty immediately predates like social media and like so watching reality TV in 2020 is really interesting, or in like any contemporary time, 2020 with and without pandemic context, just because like we're already so like we self surveil so much and we sort of self broadcast so much, and we are so it's so normalized to us to be on reality TV or like on our own little reality TV shows, and it's really interesting to think about like that there was a time period when that was just like wild, like when there was not like there were not normal, like you never saw normal representations of like real life in media, and
Yeah.
just how like what like other than like a documentary, like you never like saw because like we weren't like yeah, like when would you see that, and how like weird that is, and of course like they're not real. Like, they're either like Survivor, which is like super bizarre and like can start like either the plot is really contrived and or often both. There's so much like producer interference that like it's not actually real. And so I think like sort of the really like the fascinating thing about these TV shows is like the places in which like humanity kind of like slips in anyway.
Hmm.
Like we sort of, they put normal people on television and then they manipulate it so much that it like creates this sort of artificial narrative arc. And then the real people are like kind of just like thwart that a little bit, or like do like it's sort of the wild card. Like I always think the Bachelor franchise is one of my favorite ones because it's this idea of like putting people in a scenario in which they are being sold like capital L love. Like they are sold like roses and volcano ride helicopter trips and like,
Yeah.
exotic vacations and candlelit dinners and like all of this stuff that like we're told on a much smaller level. Like we are told that that's sort of what love looks like. And in real life, love is really thorny and messy and complicated, and it's really personal. And like what every person needs from another person isn't those things. And so, like, watching, like a group of people be like forced to sort of confront like capitalist love and then go crazy in that paradigm is amazing television. And it's like not amazing exactly for like the reason that maybe Bachelor production like wants it to be, but like to me at
Yeah.
least, like and also like obviously I'm not like immune to like a good producer thwarts. Like their editors work harder than the devil. Like they're
Yeah.
great, but like also there is something just like so like it's such an interesting thing to see people put in a situation where like these scenarios that we kind of already are uh, living with or like sold in like a much like smaller scale are just taken to like an illogical extreme, and just seeing
Hmm.
how people like psychologically handle it and just being like, oh right, like that makes people crazy. Like good to
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Wow. Well said. I I mean it's so true about The Bachelor. I find it really toxic. Like I don't like the
Oh
way
yeah,
I
oh it's super
feel
toxic.
at the end of the episodes. I watched like the last episode of the season. I watched the stuff with Claire, but that was like watching a train wreck in slow motion. I was like,
Yeah.
I
Well,
wanted.
and also like more, and the deeper that you get into it, and like the more you and especially because like you've worked in TV, I've worked in TV, like, you know, and I've also just like read about sort of, you know, the contestant experience and like production's role in that. And so like the more sort of that you get like woke to it, it gets harder to watch because you can see someone making a choice and be like, fuck, like I'm sure production told them to do that. And also like Twitter is gonna drag them tomorrow, and like they're a real person, they're gonna like get this, and that's not, you know, it's probably not what they intended, you know. It's sort of, I don't know. And all like the weird, like The Bachelor is weird too because it's been going on for so long that it like has its own insular like in world culture, you know, like it's like you know, like the way that they use their language where they say, I'm starting to fall in love, I'm falling in love, I'm in love with you, I love you. And like there's this really like, if you do those things out of turn, like no one would explicitly tell you, but it would seem weird. Like they would be like, whoa, like they, you know, he's in love with you, like before falling in love with you. That's crazy. Like that's too fast. He's got to go. He's intense. Like, you know, like,
Yep.
And like people don't talk like that in the real world.
No.
You know, yeah, or like the weird delicate dance of like when you can steal the lead and when you can't, and like when you can like rat on another contestant and when you can't. Like it's so interesting to me that like, you know, and I mean, and that works in the Bachelor franchise because they like recycle their contestants. I mean, the newest Bachelor has never been on the franchise before, unlike every other contestant except for the very first one, I guess. But like, yeah, like so I'm super interested to see. Yeah, I'm sure he's like watched it and is aware of the tropes. I think he's really good friends with like Tyler C, who was like runner up a couple years ago. I also have a weirdly encyclopedic knowledge of Bachelor contestants. Like it's stupid.
Gemini.
Something else should be in my brain, but it's that like but yeah, like so I think this season is going to be really exciting. First of all because he's hot and lovely, and of all because he hasn't sort of been like groomed by production to like follow those rules, so that's going to be interesting. Yeah, I've also been getting Vanderpump Rules. That's been great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that show makes me feel toxic. That show makes me feel bad, but I can't stop. It's like well, I like it too. So I don't like rich person reality TV. Like I've just never been like a Kardashians or Real Housewives fan. Like I think they're sort of too aware of like that they're marketing themselves. Like there's something, and it's also just kind of boring to watch rich people do stuff, but it's sort of, yeah, like there's something about the tone doesn't work for me. But Vanderpump Rules is fucking sick because it's just about servers, and like I've been a server, like doing like drugs and hooking up with your coworker and going to see like your other coworkers like shitty band open in like a bad venue is like absolutely real reality television and what I want. And like everyone is confoundingly drunk all the time, like in a way that is stressful, and they're making horrible choices. They're just horrible people. Everyone, like mostly, they're like, everyone on the show. It is incredible to me that they were able to cast so many toxic people on one television show. Like
it's impressive. I think they flock to Lisa Vanderpump. Like she attracts them. I actually I mean it's the only explanation other than like great casting and producers. I did a roundup today. Like I checked Sheena's Instagram, I checked Stassi's Instagram because I want to see when they're having the babies. I think Sheena's due in April. But I think Stassi's due really soon. They're both having girls. But oh man, like the fact that Sheena got pregnant just like a couple months after Jax's girlfriend, I'm forgetting her name. And
Bethany?
No, what's her name? Chat, what's her name? Oh, man, I'm forgetting it. Brittany.
There we go.
Jackson Brittany.
So I am at the point, I'm at the end of like season 4, which I mean, again, spoilers I don't care, but like, you know, right now I'm at the point where we're like just meeting Brittany,
Oh, how
and
fun.
yeah, that's like really exciting. So she's still like she just moved.
From
Uh,
Kentucky.
yeah, she just moved from Kentucky, and she's being a real dick to Lala, which like
I love Lala. I'm
it's
a
so
big
yeah,
Lala fan.
it's great because like well, and I also like I have my friend who like told me to get really into it will like text me and be like, where are you? And I'll just be like, this is how I feel about everyone. I should be like, wait till next season because it's true. Like I feel like I'm learning like as a writer about character development from these
Hmm.
characters because they really take you from being so unlikable and doing horrible things, and then like they're the victim in the next like season,
Yeah.
or like you start to really feel for them, or like I just like, except for Jax. Jax is an actual sociopath, and that's
Yeah.
incredibly, at some point, it's going to feel irresponsible to keep watching it and sort of like passively supporting the franchise because Jax is like a horrible person. But,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. I mean, I you probably are aware that they were like most of them were called out for like racist behavior this year.
cool. Cool. I actually did not know that, but I'm not shocked by that. Good to know.
Yeah,
Like, I,
Stassi was pretty much like hardcore canceled. Um, so it'll. I don't honestly know if they're gonna bring the show back because there was so much stuff that came to light about like their treatment of
I didn't
people.
even realize that it was this. I didn't realize that it like even had an option of coming back. It feels so old to me. Like that's interesting.
Yeah, I
But I mean,
mean,
that, it makes sense that they wouldn't. If like, I mean, again, disappointed but not particularly surprised. Like,
I think a lot of people want it to come back, but like they're gonna lose so many of the primary cast members because of what happened that I don't know. But at the same time, like Real Housewives of Orange County brought back uh, one of these women that's awful, and a lot of people aren't even watching this season because they don't want to support Bravo or Andy for like making that decision. So who knows? Anything could
yeah.
happen.
Oh, yeah. And then of course it gets really, as a consumer, like it becomes complicated at that point when you're just like, am I, like if I'm giving this franchise my like attention and time and like Nielsen rating or whatever, like
Yeah.
yeah, like yeah, which is hard because reality TV in itself is like really complicated and like often can be exploitative or is just like giving a platform to horrible people. Like
Hmm.
yeah, and it's like I feel complicated about that for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
I wish I
yeah.
had a Nielsen box, man. I would love for them to collect my data.
Oh my god, I think you get paid for that too.
Oh, it's like an
Yeah, you
honor.
should get Yeah, you should get one. That's cool. We should get Nielsen boxes. Except I don't. Do you have to watch? I feel like you have to watch on a TV. Does it work with like streaming?
I don't know. I think most streaming services are like in control of their data. And they can like give stuff to Nielsen, but I don't think Nielsen controls it. So probably
Yeah.
not.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't have
Me
TV.
neither.
TV. I don't think.
Me
But
neither.
damn, we could be doing it. I know. Really, Spotify Weekly or Spotify like Year Wrap just like totally jacked the Nielsen concept. Like it's just the same thing.
It's so true. Damn, I would love to do like a TV wrapped. I've become friends with a lot of people that are like in their early 20s. I'm 28, so not counted in that category. Um, but it's so interesting because like is gaming is to them is what TV is for me. Like I grew up on television. Like TV is what I spent most of my time doing, just like consuming that shit all day every day. Um
Totally.
but
No,
now
yeah,
I'm
I would go
like,
home from
oh,
school and like watch TV forever. Yeah.
yeah, like it's fun to talk about. You feel like you know these people. I also have to give a shout out to Sheena's It's All Happening tattoo. Have you seen that yet?
Yes. Yes. Oh my god, she does have that tattoo then. What a
It's one of the most
champion.
iconic television moments of all time. I have like a meme of her on my phone, like showing it.
That's really beautiful. It's all happening. Girl, Sheena is like incredible. Sheena is an incredible character because I like am sort of really charmed by like she really kind of doesn't give a fuck in a lot of ways. Like she literally wants to just like perform her pop music. And I love that she like straight up to the camera was just like, I don't play any instruments. I've had no vocal training. I was a cheerleader and I want to be famous now. And so I'm going to be a pop star. Like I have no interest craft. And I think that's like kind of amazing.
Yeah.
And I love that she wants attention. I'm at the point where like she and Shane, is that her?
Oh yeah.
Same name. I'm just like he is in recovery and she is not super sensitive to that journey, which I don't love about her. So I guess we'll see how that goes for them. But like, yeah, like I do really appreciate like, I don't know, and I think her like sometimes she's like a really good friend, and then sometimes she's also just like a really bad. Like I mean, people are complicated. Like the show really lets them be complicated, and that's cool.
Yes. It definitely does. Also, I have to circle back to the pop star thing. So, Sheena, Heidi Montag, Farrah Britt. Who are the other like reality show pop star converts? Did you know about Farrah from Teen Mom?
Yes, Farrah from Teen Mom. I do know that she put out an album.
Yeah. It was pretty amazing.
Oh yeah? Okay, good to know. Like, I feel like I'm trying to like remember if I've heard that. Yeah, so no, the reality TV to pop star pipeline.
I'm trying to think. Maybe that's it. I mean, Paris Hilton doesn't really count. I guess she does, actually, because The Simple Life.
Yeah. Paris Hilton started... She's kind of an interesting one, though, because the reality TV show... I mean, I guess that's Real Housewives adjacent-ish, and that, like, the reality TV show was, like, predicated on her being a famous person already.
Right.
Although she's sort of the original... I was talking about this with my friend Carrie. We, like, went live on Instagram, and we watched, we watched the Paris Hilton documentary together, which got dark after a while. Like, you know, I mean, it's a really interesting... yeah, I have mixed thoughts on that documentary, but also, like, we were talking about how she sort of, like, we're both, like, creators and internet people, but like also part of that is like we create stuff and also our like there is a level of cult of personality, and that she really like I don't know, she's like the first influencer. Like she was sort of the first person other than Angeline. I mean, Angeline's the first influencer. Maybe to LA specific, but like Paris Hilton was really one of the first people who was just like, I don't know, like I mean I exist and I'm like kind of hot, so I should be famous. Like, right. You know? Yeah. And then it just took like 20 years and then everyone is kind of like that, and I think that's like really interesting. And yeah, so that's true. So I feel like her pop career, I would count it. It's half in, half out.
Yeah. She paved the way for sure, no doubt. If you could have dinner with any reality star or any meal, who would it be?
Oh my god, if I could have dinner with one reality star. This is a really good question.
It's hard. It's a really hard one.
Okay, this is like, it's not a very chaotic answer, but I think that like Bachelorette Rachel Lindsay would just be so fun to talk to and hang out with. I think she would be like a really good dinner companion. Yeah. And then like, and I feel like or like many years ago there was a Bachelorette Caitlyn. She was Canadian and a dance instructor, and she like she's the one, she like slept with one of the contestants before Fantasy Suites, which again in their weird puritanical rules is like a big no-no. Yeah. And they like, you know, they just really slut shamed her in that way, or they made her like to all of the other men that she had slept with one of them, and this like weird, and then like sort of the whole narrative from there was framed about like, well, the men have been betrayed, and you were like literally in 2 episodes she was gonna fuck 3 of them and then send one home the next day. Like what? Like that's like she's been, it's fine. And she also just like something about just her personality I always really like, so I think she'd be really fun too.
She
Yeah.
won Dancing with the Stars.
Did she? I mean, she was a
Mm-hmm.
dancer.
Yeah.
And I think that's amazing. That makes me really happy because I think like the Bachelor franchise did her dirty a little bit. Like I think originally I feel like she wanted to go on Dancing with the Stars like earlier and they like wouldn't let her go on it or something and then like I don't know, and then like Farmer Chris before he got his
Oh
DUI was
God.
allowed to go on. Like God,
Yeah.
I love that you know what I'm talking about. Like again, this is to be
Of
clear, not only
course.
Bachelor lore, but Bachelor lore from like 5 years ago.
I've seen them all. I've seen them all. Not a fan of Chris, but yeah. So Kaylin, she won the most recent season. She beat Nev Schulman from Catfish.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
yeah. Reality Face Off. And I also just
That's
wanted to.
allowed to do that and won. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Good for her. Oh, and she's also dating Jason, who was.
Yeah, she's dating sweet Buffalo Jason. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, which I think is
Yeah.
really cute. I hope it works out
And
for
he's
them.
really hot, so I'm into it. I liked his vibe.
Hmm.
Like
I like
down on
Sean
the
too, but that seemed.
yeah, yeah. She and Sean were good together, but you know,
Yeah, obviously.
Jason's cute. I'm happy for her.
Me too. I like their dog. But there is some like weird Christian stuff going on with The Bachelor, which happened with Tasia when she ended it with I'm forgetting his name, but
Oh, Isaac was his name. Isaac, began with
I
an
don't
I.
know if it was Isaac. I want to say
He was
Eli.
the neuroscientist, or not neuroscientist. He was like a oh my god. We're like I was like he had a smart person job. He was an engineer. That's what he
Okay.
was. He was an engineer, and he was great. But yes, but they had a whole conversation, and they were just like, he's not, or
He's not, he
yeah,
just wasn't religious, and she only wanted to be with a Christian. And I know that the new bachelor, Matt, is his name Matt?
yeah,
He's very Christian. Most of the people on the show are like pretty religious.
yeah. It's like that's a really interesting. Well, it's also like a really interesting, like, sort of sect of Christianity or like sort of subculture of Christianity because it's very like you can have sex before marriage, which again, as you should, chill. Like, you know, I
Yeah.
mean, Hannah B had like the whole, you know, that whole thing with Luke when he was trying to be really shitty to her, like, you know,
Ugh.
uh, her iconic, I have had sex and Jesus still loves me. Like, that is sort of
Yeah.
the vibe, is like,
Hmm.
you know, like you're allowed to like go on reality TV and call someone else a bitch. Like, that's fine. Like, it's sort of it's a really interesting sort of like light and like non-specific. Like occasionally you'll get like I remember Hannah G was like very like evangelical, and that but that was sort of like a specific point or like occasionally you'll get people that are like really specific in their type of Christianity and like really you know traditional in that way, but a lot of people are just kind of like vaguely Christian. As an
Yeah.
Irish Italian Catholic, not a lot of representation.
Oh my god, I wonder how many Jews have been on The Bachelor or
Right?
Bachelorette.
Like, I mean, it feels like I feel like there have been more Bachelorette contestants that are Jewish than Bachelor contestants, and I think that's probably just a mixture of sexism and anti-Semitism. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, like I think, because I feel like there are a few Jews every season where I'm like, well, like yeah, and then like there's got to be, yeah, not enough, honestly. I mean, the show is like famously not diverse and has like really
Exactly.
only addressed that within the last like year or two. So
Yeah, well, that's another thing about the upcoming season. Like, I could just tell from the promos, this is by far the most diverse Bachelor season ever. Like, I think I only
yeah,
saw one blonde in the ads.
yeah, and I'm like honestly, I'm so excited.
Me
I
too.
think it's gonna be, oh, it's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be a fun season. So that's coming up soon. That's like
I
within the
know.
next week. I go to my
Couple
mom's and watch
days.
her. That's like yeah.
It's gonna be
Um,
so fun. I'm excited. We'll have you back on the show. We can do recaps.
yes, please have me back anytime to discuss my feelings about them, especially when they're fresh in my mind. I'll be passionate.
Hell yeah. Oh, I'm so down. I'm a huge Survivor fan. Have you ever watched Survivor?
So I actually, I mean, I've seen a few episodes here and there, and one of my friends watched, like, started from the beginning in quarantine and said it was really good, and like, so
Jealous.
I don't know if I'm ready for that journey yet, like, because I know that I'll get sucked into it, and like, I have to be productive. I'm really bad at being productive, but yeah. So tell me what you like about it.
Well, I'm all about like reality competition series. I That's what I used to like write and pitch and that kind of thing back in the day. Um, they did just add 2 seasons of Survivor to Netflix, like 2 of the best seasons, I think, to like get people
Ooh,
interested. So if you're gonna
okay.
start, I would start there for sure. Um, Sorry, my dog's making weird noises. But what I was gonna
Aw.
say is one time when I was on the bus going to school, I saw a Survivor contestant on the bus, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's Spencer." So obviously I sat next to him, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, how's it going? You're Spencer, right?" And so we started talking, and immediately, like, I had to ask my questions. I actually applied to be on Survivor when I was in college. Like, I made a
Amazing.
video and everything. Extremely embarrassing. Hopefully, that will never surface. Um, but he said, so I was like, is it as hard as it looks? Um, because I always think about like how production must just be like sitting next to them. They're like
Right. Like they're not making the
starving.
cameramen survive. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he said that it is, in fact, as terrible as it looks, and that, like, the video village is unseen. So, like, they don't see, like, that
Oh.
where production is based at all, and they just, like, send out crews of cameramen and then they, go back. So they're not, like, sleeping out there with them. Like, they're
Yeah.
on shifts,
Which makes sense.
basically.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
wild. Oh, I didn't know that at all. I mean, it makes sense. Like I didn't think that they would make like the cameramen sleep with them. That would be terrible. Like
I
it's like, yeah,
know.
y'all aren't even union. You don't get paid enough. Like
Right. Well, I was imagining that like right off camera, like was, a hut with like producers and the director and stuff. But like no, apparently they never see that. And I actually an old friend that I like grew up with uh ended up becoming like a producer. Like he actually made the challenges on the show. He was on something called like the Dream Team, and so they created all the puzzles and all the challenges, and then they would run them. So if you start watching the show, you'll see that they show like previews of what the challenge is going to look like, and they just show like feet and like arms. That was
oh my god,
him.
and that's them.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's so funny.
Yeah, and
Man.
he was like I can get you on the crew. Like all you have to do is apply and make a video about how you're outdoorsy and like like doing gritty stuff outside. And I was like, I don't like doing that.
I don't do that. Yeah, it sounds like that's like my nightmare job, but I love that it is someone's dream, and that's great. Like, yeah, I mean, it sounds cool if it's your thing for sure. No, are you kidding? I applied to be on The Circle. I was like, lock me in one room, and then of course quarantine happened, and now there is no second season of The Circle because I think they were like, it's too real. We're all living it. Like,
Wow. They would probably cast you. You would be perfect.
it's a shame. It's such a I know. I'd be like, and and also how fun to see if like clout, if I could like get my talent for clout to translate to like the weird fake social media of the circle. It's
So
like what a
good.
good. I love like the circle in Terrace House and like reality TV that's like very gentle. Like I really Great British Bake Off. Like I
Yeah.
really like when and the circle was great because I think they definitely when they were like before they were shooting tried to make it a really competitive show and then just they cast a really nice group of people that didn't want to do that and like
Hmm.
so that was great, big fan.
Yeah, they were really nice. That was a fun show to watch. Oh, there was this show like a couple years back, actually, probably like 6 or 7 years ago, called Solitary. Did you ever hear about that?
No.
it was kind of like The Circle, except there was no interaction. And they had like 8 people living in these tiny pods. So they had no sunlight. The bed
Oh
like
my god.
shot out of the wall for like a couple hours a day. And the producers controlled the light. So like they had no idea what time it is. They didn't know if it was daytime, nighttime. They would randomly get
Oh my god,
fed.
that's horrible.
It was basically a torture show. Like it was
Yeah, that's definitely a
sanctioned
torture show.
torture.
That's
Yeah.
horrible.
But
And it was just
then
how long it last or like
but then they threw in excruciating challenges, like making them watch like fucked up videos and then like having to do
what?
like weird tasks. It's crazy. You can probably still watch it somewhere.
Yeah, that is an insane. That is wild. Like that's from again like the early days of reality TV when they were still trying to like figure out the formula. Like
Yeah.
and they were just like people want like because in some ways it is like we want a little bit of like we want to experience drama, which in some ways means we want to experience like tension or uncomfort or like discomfort or pain, but like not that level. Like the idea that they were just like let's just try this like it's
Mhm.
like so crazy to me. I mean, I hope those people are okay. Like I want to see what the follow-up is on like where they're at right now. I would feel very traumatized by that experience.
I'm gonna look it up because that would be really interesting to find out.
Yeah,
I'll try to pull it up right
yeah,
now.
let's see what's up.
I'm also a huge Big Brother fan. Have you ever watched Big Brother?
No, I've never watched Big Brother. I've watched Real World. Is it like just sort of similar, like, you know, panopticon in a house situation?
Yes, but oh, it's from 2006. It's
That is
kind
like
of
not
like the real world, but there's
not
challenges, and
gotcha.
there it's oh, man, how do you describe Big Brother? Okay, Big Brother is like Survivor, but it's much longer. They're there for like up to 4 months if you're the last person standing, um, and there are more challenges, there are more like leadership roles. It's a much more complicated version of Survivor. It's honestly really fucking good. I'm obsessed. And you
Yeah,
can
that
watch
sounds
it
great.
24/7.
Whoa, what the fuck? Really? So like is it streaming or is it like what?
Yeah. So it's on TV 3 nights a week. Each night is a different challenge and then the last day is an elimination where they vote someone out. And then through CBS.com, they have like cameras all over the house. So you can choose what camera you want to watch at any time. They only
Oh
turn
my
off
god.
when they're filming the challenges.
That's
So,
like it's so crazy. That's like what my mom does to like bears in Alaska. Like
yeah, it is nuts. Oh wow, there were 4 seasons of Solitary.
that's insane. They let that happen until 2010. Like
They were
that's
in round the clock solitary
so
confinement for 50K. It's not that much money
that is
for
not
that.
that much money. Well, and also if you lose, like you have to deal with that and then not get 50K. I hate that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so they could sometimes speak to each other, but the whole thing was controlled by this like robot named Val. That was the only like interaction they got was talking to a robot.
That's horrible.
Yeah. And this is what it looked like. This is where they had to sit. Oh wait, sorry. I gotta flip it
God.
over. Look at that. Oh god. Darn. Ah, sorry, my
Ah, what a
computer.
weird space. Like what a. I mean, I guess it's better than I thought. I guess have solitaire. I was thinking more cell-like,
There
but
we go.
like,
That is pretty much a cell. They were just
yeah,
sitting on the
yeah,
floor.
and just in the circular again, it is very like it's
And
like an
so the
escape room. It's like living in an
yeah,
escape room.
yeah. And so the bed would like come out of the wall at certain times. But like it wasn't always there. What the hell is this on the
Oh
ground?
my
That
god, so
looks
you
like
couldn't
a
just hang out in bed? I hate this game. I would not do well in this game.
me
Like,
neither. Obviously you can quit at any time, but people have a
yeah,
lot
I
of
would not
willpower.
make the 50K.
Oh, and this is their like bed. Oh my god. What a nightmare.
Yeah, show me the. It looks so
It's the
sad.
saddest bed I've ever seen.
It's like a fucking yeah. It's like a Hey Arnold bed, but like dark timeline. Like
Yeah.
also, wait, can you go back watch Solitary season 2? I thought I saw the word handcuffs in the description for that image.
Wait,
Like
oh shoot, which image was it? The bed one?
oh, just the guy on the bed, the pink bad guy. Yeah,
Oh yeah, handcuffs across America. What is
across
that?
America. What?
Uh,
Oh, cool. It's on Prime. Good to know. Thanks, Jeff Bezos, for that. Much
thanks,
appreciated. Like,
Papa Bezos. Wait, okay, I don't know what this is. I don't know how to get it to go away. Yeah, so, just some quality quarantine content for you if you're
yeah,
looking.
just some light viewing. Oh my god. Well, I do feel like grateful that I have at least an apartment to spend all my time in, and I can like lie in the bed whenever I want. That feels really good to me. So I do feel
Yeah,
better about that now.
yeah, yeah. Gratitude, baby.
Yeah.
Well, we've already been talking for an hour and a half, and I don't want to take up your whole night. Um, are there any like final hot
What?
takes or things you'd like to discuss? Chat if you have any questions. Now's the time.
Time. Oh my god, this was so lovely. I can't believe that went by so fast. I can't think
Any?
of anything. Last hot takes. If you've got a last, a subject, a burning subject, we
I'm
should
just.
definitely do this again. We'll
Oh hell
get.
yeah! It's so fun, and you're just the most fun person to talk to. I could talk to you all day.
Oh, this is
Um,
great. I'm talking to you. Easy.
Yay! I'm glad. I guess I'd love to know. This is kind of like a vague question, but like internet culture or just like culturally in general, like what's standing out to you right now? I think astrology is like an obvious thing that like everyone's really into right now. We've obviously talked about that, but like are there other things that are sticking out to you?
Um, I mean, I think that like we're sort of in a place now, like where like we. I thought that like this show me a picture of this was really nice, or like a picture from the camera roll. I really like that sort of like story trend because it was also really um again, I just think intimacy right now, and like our worlds are so much smaller, and so and also especially now, like I think any like any sort of like display of like vacation or like wealth would just seem really like gauche and like weird, and like as much as we all
Mm-hmm.
want to get out of our own heads, like there's something I feel like just like seeing content that's just around like people's like what's in your phone already, like we're sort of like self-referential, like what am
Yep.
I scrolling, or like I one of my favorite things was just a Twitter thread of the best like Twitter moments in 2020, and it was just like realizing like how much of my news had been like filtered through Twitter, or like we just lived like a whole year filtered through our tiny screens, and so
Yeah.
like I feel like seeing stuff that's more like, this is what's been on my camera roll, this is what's in my search history, this is like, it's more about the ways that we're interacting with the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like maybe not like a specific like genre or anything, but it's something that I've noticed. I mean, I don't know how we're gonna like react to that. Like 2021, I mean, ostensibly, if the vaccine hits, when like I don't know, we're just gonna have content of we're probably gonna post so many pictures of our friends, like just groups of our friends, like
Yeah.
and that's gonna be beautiful. I want to see everyone hang out with their friends. Nothing fancy because we're also probably all still gonna be unemployed and
Yeah.
not in health insurance, so it doesn't have to be fancy. But like yeah, I can't wait for that. I can't wait for like social media content.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting. It honestly gives me like a little bit of anxiety thinking about like re-entering. Because I've definitely become like very isolated and
Yeah.
am enjoying spending a lot of time by myself. And I think about the FOMO when like people do start doing things again, and it's like, I feel like social life's actually gonna look really different for me. Um, I don't know if it's gonna be like that for everyone.
Yeah. yeah, I feel really I guess I won't know until we're there, but I feel really torn between like sometimes I'm like I want to go to a bar and I want to befriend a girl in a dirty bathroom and just like hang out and like I want to like I want to go dancing with strangers. And then other times I just think about that fucking like diagram of like the people just spewing particles at each other and I'm like I never want to do that again. Like that's disgusting. Like I think about like karaoke and I'm like we just like spat on a mic and then gave it to a stranger and then they spat on it and then they gave it to someone else and we were just like fine with that. Like we were
Yeah. It's
like
so
bowling.
crazy.
I was in a bowling league and I'm like you just stick your fingers into the ball and then you like eat something like the communal.
Yeah.
It's so gross, like yeah, like everything. So I don't know, uh we'll see if I'm like deeply desiring of like experiences like that or if I'm just like so neurotic by the end that I'm like I can't, everything is disgusting.
Yeah. It's, oh my God. It's so true. Humans are really gross, as we
Yeah,
already knew, but now we really get that on like another level.
yeah, very special.
Oh man.
Oh my god, thank you so much for having me. This was a delight.
Oh, thank you. It was my honor and pleasure. I love shooting the shit with you and getting to talk about all this stuff. And thank you for all your amazing work. I think I speak
Oh
for
my
a lot of
god,
people when I say that.
yeah, hell yeah, that's so kind. Dude, fuck yeah. What a joy. What a delight. We will talk soon. Thank you for
Thank
everyone listening.
you.
First, thank you. All right.
Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you soon. Go follow Aiden if you don't already.
Oh yeah, Aiden Arata. Yeah.
Yay. All right. Thanks so much, Aiden. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.